Hey, scrappers and recyclers, we got a lot of weird boards in our last pallet that we picked up, so come on, let's dive in and see what we can get out of a few of them. So this was obviously some sort of camera board, and it's going to be a nice peripheral already. What I want to see is if there's a chip inside of here. It might have a DLP chip, which is good money, or it might not. I don't know. We're going to find out. It might, the DLP chip might be integrated to the board. Yeah, so it's integrated into the board itself. So you can see that the chip is integrated onto the board. Real nice chip there. Gold-plated pins here. And then on this side, we have a number of ICs, gold-edged oscillator, tantalum capacitors, more ICs. So this is definitely, at a minimum, this is going to be a peripheral high-grade board. And the question is, can I justify something with a little more oomph to it? I got to think about that one. It's probably just going to be a peripheral high-grade board, but I'm tempted to put it in with the Telcom low grades, because we do have a pretty dense population of boards, plus we have this real nice chip here. I don't know, got to think about that one for a little bit. This is going to be a peripheral high-grade board if I can get it separated from its cover, micro mod, automation, micro DCI, some sort of medical device. So let's see here. Is this going to be as easy as prying it off of this? It's never that easy. What I'm concerned about is that these might be plastic rivets holding it in place. All right, well, they're popping off, so that's a good thing. All right, so we have tactile switches on this side, whole bunch of LEDs over here, because remember, we had the buttons over here like that, right? And then we had these, whoops, let's get it oriented properly. So the buttons over on this side right there. And then here we had all of these numbers, and here the LEDs would light up. I'm wondering if this was a blood pressure monitor. Oh no, because that number doesn't go up high enough. Yeah, I wonder what that was. Anyway, we have a whole bunch of LEDs, we have tactile switches, we have all these IC flat pack things on this side, tantalum capacitors, gold plated pins. So yeah, this will go in peripheral high grade. I'm not even going to look to see if that's Mylar, because it's glued in really thick and it had tactile switches underneath of it. So the Mylar is used when you don't have the tactile switches. So that's just going to be, yeah. All right, y'all convinced me. Let's see what we got underneath of here. Nothing. Just the mask for the labeling and this plastic sheet. So this is all just plastic trash. We had a few of these, so we'll have to work through them. This one's a little bit different because this one has a socket mounted IC here. And I keep some dental picks around that are very useful for this. We just get that dental pick in there and pop that out. That can go in with the ICs now. And then we'll pop this board out of here. And keep my hand over it to try to prevent those little plastic things from boinking me in the eyeballs. Yeah, so we're going to throw that in with the peripheral high grades again. The only thing we're going to have to do with this peripheral board is take off this heatsink, and this should be pretty simple. And we've got a nice chip underneath there, so that can go in with the peripherals. Oops, the box is so full the stuff is falling out. And that's an aluminum heatsink. So this board is kind of interesting because we have the tin silver fingers on this side and we have nothing on this side. We have some sort of nuts that we're doing something. I'm not sure. It says lock in. I'm not exactly sure what those may have been doing. Let's see if we can get those removed pretty easily. All right. And what were they? They do not, that part does not respond to a magnet. The screw part does. This is probably brass. Yep, that's brass. Yeah, we're gonna get this handle off of here. It's riveted in place, so we'll just bust that off. There we go. That is aluminum. Aluminum. And then that will go in with the peripheral high grade boards as well. We've got a nice chip here. We have some other components that may be gold bearing, these older resistors. We have some older style tantalum capacitors here. So I'm comfortable throwing that in with my peripherals. Oops. And we have, what do we have? I don't know what we have. Kaiweets built-in ultrasonic scaler. Huh. All right. Manufactured by Dentist Supply Professional. All right. Well, let's see. We've got a couple of screws to get out of here. And these boards are sandwiched together. So let's look at this one first. So here we see gold Enig, flat pack IC kind of thing, some tiny little tantalums and some more small ICs. These pins are not gold plated, as you can see. But given the small size and the density of these other chips, I'm going to go ahead and put that in with the peripherals. Get rid of the plastic. This board is a different story. This board has nice yellow tantalum capacitors, some nice big chunky MLCCs, a bunch of ICs. That's going to have copper wound up in it. Those might be ICs there. This side, we have some big chunky copper something or others, transformers or something, some capacitors. We have a really interesting gold capped, what are you? F2. What's F? Oh, I gotta look that one up again. I don't remember what F is on circuit boards. And then we have a whole bunch of tantalum, MLCCs down inside of there. So let's see, what are my options here? Maybe if I get these guys off of here, I can put this in with the peripherals. Yeah, look at that, nice copper. There's some sort of transformer or something. And I don't know. Let's get these caps off of here too. What the heck? That's just dead weight, not doing anything. And they don't weigh that much, but still. Yeah, so now I'm very comfortable putting that in with the peripheral boards because we've got gold Enig all over the place on here. Plus we have this gold device. I have to look up what F stands for again. And then all those other devices we were talking about. So yeah, good. More peripheral. These capacitors I'm going to put in with the low-grade boards. This copper, let's confirm here that we have no magnetic response. Yep, no magnetic response. So I'm going to take this copper. So this was coiled up on a ferrite core, so it was some sort of transformer or something of that nature, but we'll just take this copper now, put it in with my number 2 copper. And let's see here. What we have here. There we go. Pull that copper coil off of there again. I'm going to leave that one coiled up a bit. And this stuff can all go into the, that's a little piece of the copper. The rest of this can go in with my small metal bits. All right, let's go see what else we have hiding around here. We have an LCD screen, and you see these tabs along here. We just take an edge cutter, edge shear thing, we twist those so that they're straight, or in this case, we can just bend them right out of the way. Okay, they're all out of the way. Get a screwdriver up in here and get that screen off of there. That part you can put in with your low grades if you want. This board can go in with your peripheral high grades because each one of these little dollop looking things is an IC. So it's really kind of interesting when you remove that coating and you can see the IC underneath of it. It's pretty cool. And then you have all of this obvious gold Enig around here, so, and these gold plated pins. So this is a easy peripheral high grade board. This screen, the metal, this frame will go with the steel. The glass, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there are connector pads along the edges. And the way that the indium, there's indium tin oxide that is sandwiched in the glass. And as a current is passed, you get different symbols and letters and things. I used to look for someone to buy my screens for indium tin oxide, my LCD screens. I now have a buyer for flat screens, and what I'll do with these is put these in with the flat screens when I sell them to my buyer. That is about as close as I'm going to get to finding someone to buy LCD screens. All right, we need to get this plate off of here. Hopefully this will be as simple as just unscrewing it. We have gold Enig ICs all around here. We actually have an IC looking thing right there that is really hard to see, but it is kind of an IC-ish looking device there. And gold-plated pins, a small capacitor here, a dip switch here, more gold-plated pins. So this will be another peripheral high grade. By the way, where these came from, steel, where these came from was a recent Gaylord full of boards that I sorted through. I'll put a link to the video for those of you that have missed it. And when I did the gross sort, I put all of the things that look like they have the potential to be peripheral boards. I tried to keep them separate so that I could do exactly what I'm doing now. All right, you're probably ferrous, yes. And we'll get this aluminum heatsink off of here. Well, tell you what, let's get this copper coil off of here. That one's too thick still. How about you? You're kind of okay, yeah. That's always fun to do, just unspool that copper. You just got to find the right copper end to pull on. There we go. Oops. And that can go in your number 2 copper. All right, some ferrite. Now, we still have this kind of transformer looking thing. We got some big chunky capacitors. So, low grade peripheral board. There's just too much junk on it. It is obviously a peripheral, came from a peripheral device, peripheral board, but it's a low grade. It's got too much junk. This board's kind of interesting because at first you would say, oh, it's brown, so it must be a low grade board. Not so fast. We see on this board that we have a lot of tantalum capacitors. We have a number of ICs and flat pack looking things. Plus we have this socket mounted IC. Let's go ahead and get you out of there. So the back is some caps and some oscillators and some teeny tiny little MLCCs. This is actually copper underneath of here. So this can go in with the peripheral high-grade boards because you've got a pretty good population of ICs throughout this, plus the other things like the tantalums and MLCCs. Now I'm going to take this off because that's kind of just a junk component, and it should pop right off. There we go. So that cleans it up real nice, and now that can go in with my IC, with my peripheral high grades. And that can go in with the ICs. You're probably either aluminum or brass. You do not respond. You're very lightweight, so I'm guessing aluminum. Let's give it a scratch. Aluminum. This board is kind of nasty looking. Let's get this wire out of the way. Well, doesn't want to come out easy. We'll just cut it. And get you out of there. Now, just so we can see what we got going on underneath there, we don't have to take these off necessarily, but it's always fun to see what's under there. And you can see from the rust that's going to be ferrous. This was some sort of cable board. from you know, one of the cable companies, or a DVR without the R, without the DV or the R. But your coaxial cable would have plugged in here from your cable company, and then you would have had your signal going out to your TV or whatever. Bunch of ICs here. Nice big ICs, oscillators all over the place on here. Some more caps. So again, classic peripheral board, and because we have so many ICs, we can go peripheral high grade. And that's number 3 insulated wire. Here's a similar kind of arrangement, only this one is glunkier. I think I just made up a word, glunkier. Anyway, let's get the wire off of here. I'm going to go number 2 insulated on that, because nice thick copper inside of that with not that much insulation. That's a ferrite block on there. You could go through the time to cut off the rubber and get the wire, or you could just chuck it in with your little Ferris bits if you want. Gold edged crystal oscillator. That complicates things. Excuse me. Gold cornered BGA. Get it straight, Sharky. All right, so aluminum heatsink. Oh man. Let's see what's underneath there. Yeah, behind door number 2. Oh, that would have been for a flash card to go in there. Might have been, you know, if this was a cable box, that may have been your card to slide in there to bring the cable box to life. Identify it as yours. And we've got a little heat sink over here on a MOSFET. All right, I'm just going to throw that in with the low-grade stuff. We have another one here and another one here. What condition are you in? I don't know if you're going to unscrew is the issue here. Let's see. Oh yeah. Yeah, you weren't that rusted up. How about you? That one's pretty rusted up. All right, so let's see. That one, we can bend the MOSFET off of it. Then we can get the aluminum heatsink and put that with our aluminum. This one, because it won't unscrew properly, we'll just pop that one off of there, throw that in with the low grades. That, what in the world is that? Are you a battery? Part of the label is messed up. I don't know. Let's see. Let's go ahead and take it off of there. So I think that was some sort of capacitor. Let's check that in with the low grades. Now we've got this big transformer thing and another copper coil. So we'll be able to unspool that copper coil like you saw me do earlier in this video. And this transformer looking thing is kind of junking stuff up a little bit, so let's see here. And it just wants to fall apart. Let's see if we can pry it off. I'm trying to, maximize this without taking too much stuff off of here. We'll be able to get the copper off of that probably. All right, and another piece of ferrite there. Another transformer looking thing here. All right, now here's what that allowed me to do. Taking off all of that big chunky stuff and leaving this gold cornered BGA along with all these other flat pack ICs here. I think now this is okay to put in with my peripheral high grade boards. Nothing on the back. My other option could have been to leave the stuff on here, go peripheral low grade, but remove the gold cornered BGA for gold recovery if you go down that road. So there's some options for you on what to do here. And of course, if you're not in a position where you can sell your boards, then you're going to depopulate the ICs and flat packs and the BGAs in order to get at the gold bearing material. The oscillators may or may not have silver in them. They're terribly challenging to get out. We've still got a little more copper wire we could remove. Some people like to get the aluminum from the capacitors and these MOSFETs. Some people like to get the heat sinks off of them, which are frequently copper, but they might be aluminum or even brass. I've seen them. So there's different heatsink material there. And then you've got this gold-plated material for where the flash card went in. As promised, the links popping up here are going to take you to the video where I unloaded all of these boards. And then there's going to be another one here, which is the video YouTube thinks you want to see. And the round one in the middle, that's to help you to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Be safe, y'all.